What's up, Block 22 Nation? It's your boy Gobo. With me, as always, is Dames, and this is NFHell Season 3, Episode 2. Boy, do we have a doozy today. So, for one, let's get the elephant out of the room. I'm wearing a Chicago Bears jersey, as voted on by you, the fans. It was a tie between Chicago and Houston. I don't have a Houston Texans jersey. I will try to procure one for next week, but
How sad
throw
for you.
it burns my skin a little bit. But this dude, Justin Fields, he won a game. He won a game. Didn't know he was going in, so I have a little bit more respect for him. Um, but it just goes to show you when you take a player off the Bears, they find their stride. Anyways, we will talk about that soon. Um, let's get into some news.
Let's do it.
Number one, college football, not NFL, NCAA hell, NCAA whatever. My Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders, prime time, first FCS opponent against the University of Nebraska. Go out there, they lay a big fat turd, right near you, Mr. Dames. Yeah, Dion not handling it the best. Kind of goes off on a reporter post game. Shadur, I don't know if you knew this, left the game before it was over, didn't shake hands with any of the Nebraska players or their coach. Yeah, you see him like 4 minutes left in the game. They're down 28, whatever, 28-14, I think was the final. Shadur is walking down the tunnel going home.
Do you,
Um,
sorry.
this team's in trouble. This team is in trouble. I think there wasn't much there to begin with, but they're squandering all this talent. I don't think the Board of Regents is going to be happy. I don't think that Colorado's going to hold very well to their conference standards. I mean, they could lose every game this season.
Do you remember a year ago, almost to this very date, we were saying that he could be building a powerhouse, the likes of which have never been seen, just based on his name and like the opening that they had to this whole thing. And now they've got Sean Keeler from the Denver Post is not allowed to ask questions anymore. And I don't know if you watched the press conferance, but it's
It's I
hilarious. He
was
just
I
comes
I
out,
stopped watching the game about 4 minutes in.
he's like, he's like, why are you doing this? He's like, you hate us. Why are you asking questions? He's like, I have legit football. He's like, yeah, but why? He's like, if there's someone I hate, I don't waste my time thinking about them or asking questions. So what are you even doing? I mean, it's a hilarious clip.
It's like
But
it's not about hate. It's that like you've been burdened with the expectations of this team, and you're not delivering.
well,
Like
he goes, what made you like this? And the guy goes, good question. And he's like, well, I would have been like, okay, your ineptitude at coaching, the fact that your players are unruly, they don't stick around, and I mean everything about this organization that we love and know is being turned into a shit show, and that's why I have these questions for you. That's what I would have said.
I mean,
And
I think that's
that if you don't
totally.
want to answer because you're just adding fuel to the fire, bro.
I mean, that's. I mean, that's essentially what it boils down to. I mean, is that yeah, they remind me a lot of like, do you ever watch those like and one basketball tapes growing up where it was just a bunch of really like talented basketball players doing a bunch of crazy talented shit set to like some low key hip hop. But like you know that those dudes would never stand a chance in the NBA. And like that's kind of how I feel about the Colorado Buffaloes. They're like the football version of like an and one mixtape. Like they have so much talent, so much attitude, like they're fun to watch, they're fun to talk about. They get on the field and they fucking suck. Because they make mistakes. And if you make mistakes in Division 1 college football, the other team will beat you.
Yeah. I mean, college football is at I don't want to say a crossroads because it's probably bigger than it ever has been, but I'm looking at things that should be that aren't, like Michigan getting destroyed by Texas. I
Mhm.
mean, there was just, I mean,
Michigan also lost to Northern Illinois.
Yeah,
So like,
Notre Dame losing
oh no,
early in
no,
the
who did
season.
Notre Dame lose to Northern Illinois?
Uh,
It was Notre Dame, not
yeah, it
Michigan.
was Notre Dame. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you got, I mean, Oregon and Boise State went toe to toe. I mean, it was 37-34. Uh, I mean, Nebraska, who got waylaid by Colorado last year, 28-10 final there. I
yeah.
mean,
I don't. I would love to think it's because Nebraska's good and CU has a chance to make a bowl game this year. I don't feel optimistic about that.
I will tell you, Dylan Raiola, who I did pick to win the Heisman, I don't know why I did that because I really don't like Nebraska, but
Mhm.
um, he's he's a freshman and he's already doing things for Matt Rule that nobody else has been able to do. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, college football. We'll be talking about it because those guys are going to be in the
I
NFL.
was gonna say next year we'll be talking about them. We talked about fucking Caleb Williams at USC not winning any games last year. Um, I mean, I'm just my opinion about college football. Let's just have Texas and Georgia play for the Natty right now.
You think
Like,
so?
just get it over with. Like,
Well, no, because I want to see how the 12 playoff team system works.
oh, it is the first year of the 12
I
team.
mean,
Okay,
I gotta see how that rolls out.
okay, yeah, yeah. God, that's gonna
I
be
mean,
cake.
Penn State could be in the top 12.
Then Penn
I
State
mean,
probably will be in the top 12. Like,
yeah,
we're gonna get a team from the MAC or
we'll
the
talk
Sun
about that. Penn State barely rolled past Bowling Green this
Belt.
week. I think it was 34-27.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
we're gonna end up with a team like fucking Rice or like AU or like one of these like total shithouse schools is gonna end up playing like Texas, and it's gonna be fun. I hope it's fun. I don't know. I just think about TCU and Georgia and the Natty a couple of years ago, and it was just like so one-sided. And you could just it looked like a team of men playing like a little league team. But anyway,
uh,
all right, enough college football. There's enough sadness in the NFL that we don't have to drum up my mixtape of a team here. Um, so speaking of seeing people rolling and hating and patrolling, trying to catch Tyreek Hill riding dirty. Um, Tyreek Hill pulled over in his sports car, probably for speeding or some reckless activity on the way to the game, a home game for the Dolphins, pulled over by Miami police, and is taken out of the car, handcuffed, patted down, went through the whole rigmarole in front of several teammates, gets released, plays the game, scores a couple of touchdowns. Miami wins in a close one. I mean, you can't make this shit up, man. Like it's just it's about the memes. Like poor
so again, have you seen the video?
I haven't, no.
Basically, what happens is he gets pulled over, and you don't have to roll your window down. You can, as long as you can get them the information. Well, he's got tinted windows on his sports car, and so the cop like aggressively knocks on his window, and he's like, "Please don't knock on my window like that, man." He even said, "Please." He's like, "Don't knock on my window like that." And so once he gets, he's like, "Just give me my ticket so I can get on with my business." And he
Mhm.
rolls the window back up, and the cop's like, "No, roll your window back down." He's like, "Why? Just go give me my shit, and I'll get out of here." And he's like, "Roll your window down." He's knocking on it again, and he's like, "If you don't roll it down, I'm gonna have to have you get out of the car." He's like, "As a matter of fact, get out of the car." And then he opens the door and rips him out of the car, throws him on his face, steps on his back, and handcuffs him. And once that settled down a little bit, they set him on the curb, and he called his other teammates.
I
And
was gonna say
as
it's
soon as
like,
they got there, they got handcuffed. And I mean, if you think about it, and I don't want to get too racy on this show, but if you think about it, those guys kind of put their lives on the line for him, knowing what we know about how people can get shot for basically
oh yeah, his
just
teammates, his teammates
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Just
I was like,
just arguing. I mean, just putting up a fight for their rights.
no, for real.
Get shot in this country. So
I mean,
that's a
that's the
that's a
thing.
brotherhood they got down there. I like Miami. I mean, I'm liking it.
I like what they're doing in Miami. Are they going to be Super Bowl contenders? I mean, time will tell. I think they got some work on defense and some running game stuff to put together, but I do like when teams stick up for themselves. I do like though that Jalen Waddle was kind of like making fun of him while he was in Cubs. So it's like, yeah, it's there's lots of memes on TikTok and right now about that going around. So
Well, and then you had the 80-yard touchdown where he put his hands behind his back and Waddle cuffed him. That was I thought that was hilarious, dude.
I mean, if you can't laugh at yourself, I mean that's the thing. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I've never been arrested. I have been handcuffed in training and stuff. Certainly doesn't feel good, but to get through that and then go and play a football game and do so well. I mean, the dude's got some serious resolve, some good emotional IQ. So good on you, Tyreek Hill. Hopefully, you can avoid further legal entanglements. But if I'm the chief of the Miami Police, I will be like, please leave this guy the fuck alone.
Yeah, no kidding.
Um, because like out of all the guys you could have pulled over and did that too. Um, so speaking of TikTok memes, what have you, we have a TikTok channel here at Lock 22. It is co-manned by Mr. Dames and myself. We have lots of fun, goofy content. We have high levels of interaction, and we have now surpassed 1,000 followers. So we will be doing some live videos. So check us out, sub the channel. Maybe you'll get a follow back. Maybe you can DM us and share all of your personal disturbing thoughts with us via the internet. But check us out on TikTok. Takes 1 second to subscribe, 10 seconds to watch the videos, a lifetime of love in your heart from us at Lock 22. So, speaking of love,
Oh, nice segue.
thank you. Yes, I may have thought of that prior too. Um, we went to Brazil. The field, I
Oh,
I didn't
oh, the
personally,
Packers
but
did.
my Packers did. I say we as I was there with them in spirit. I may have had, a couple of margaritas. I know that's probably not a Brazilian thing. Anyways, um, the field is trash. Synthetic grass mixed with turf, not hard enough to support the extreme weight of football players, but better suited for football or soccer players, which is the sport Brazil is really known for. And we get out there, several players slipping and sliding, ugly football, multiple injuries, including our starting quarterback, Jordan Love, sprained MCL, out 3 to 6 weeks with 5 seconds left in the game, which we're down by five. He has a chance to throw a Hail Mary. He's going down for a sack. He twists his body kind of funny, gets the dump off out, keeps the play alive, gives the Packers one more opportunity to take a shot at the end zone. I can't fault Jordan Love for the decision that he made. But the fact that he went the whole game, had a pretty good game. Like 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, lots of yards, good third down conversion rate. Philly's got a great defense. I mean, it was a good game. I think the Packers played well. Philly's a great team. It was a tough loss, but even worse. Now we're taking Malik Willis with us, coming home to face off against the Colts this week. So, I mean, we'll get to this in predictions, but I mean, like, what does this mean for the Packers season? I know what I think it means. Come on, Dames. I know you got an opinion.
Well, I mean, you got to stay with the pack, no pun intended, um, that all won. So, I mean, it's already an uphill battle. So I don't really have much to say until I see, the coming weeks because the Bears have a tough matchup and, it's certainly manageable. Hopefully it's on the shorter end and he comes back in 3 weeks and he's good to go. I remember Russell Wilson had an MCL sprain and he didn't miss any time.
Right.
So it really depends on the person and he's rather
Yeah.
young still. So hopefully,
Maybe he comes back next week. We don't know.
let's hope for the
Uh,
best because I don't. Like if I was gonna face the Packers right now, I would not be happy that I'm facing. I want to face teams at their full
Mhm.
scope because what's the point of otherwise?
Right. Yeah, like you beat a team, you beat Sam Darnold. Good for you.
Yeah,
Well,
like
some
there's
teams didn't beat
people
Sam.
in my family going, I wish we could play the Niners while McCaffrey's out. I'm like, why?
Well, for one,
I mean,
Mason's kind of a fucking beast
yeah,
too.
you might get the win, but easier, but what did you really accomplish? You snuck
Right.
out a win while they were hurt. That's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just
Oh,
seemed,
and with the new 17 game season, teams are like a lot more willing to like concede a loss, knowing that they have a lot of injuries to avoid further injuries. And because it's like you can lose 5 games and still win your division now.
yeah.
So I don't know. Either way, Jordan Love on the mend. We'll see how Malik Willis does. A little bit easier of a matchup, maybe. I don't know. Indy's tough. They always play us really hard. I don't know what it is if it's a regional thing, but we always seem to struggle with the Colts. So we'll see. We'll see how. I mean, we saw one Malik Willis play. He went for the Hail Mary and slipped on the turf. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if he's
Well, and
actually.
that's not fair either because
No, it's not.
everyone else had the whole game to adjust to the field. He gets
Right.
one freaking
He gets
play.
one play. Yeah, you're going in for one play. Go win the game. Like no pressure, but also the field sucks, and we don't know what type of cleats you should be wearing. Yeah, it sucks. I hope I don't envy whatever team gets sent to Brazil next season. But yes, first ever professional football game south of the equator. Eagles win. Jordan Love comes home in a little brace.
Get,
Um,
get well, Jordan.
get well, Jordan. Puka Nakua. The Rams. Um, injured. I know. I know you were talking very highly of Mr. Nakua on our previous episode. Obviously a great player. Um, what does this mean for the Rams and the NFC West?
I got a lot to say about it. I mean, he was the reason I had them at number two over the Seattle. If you recall, I'm like, he's the difference. And I mean, he was the difference this week to me as well. And we'll talk about that when that time comes around. But he's going to miss at least 4 games. So we'll go from there. But again, I mean, I don't love McCaffrey and I don't love Nakua. Or, well, I do. I love the players. I don't love the teams that they're on. But I certainly don't wish injury on. I mean, I realize that's never gonna happen. You're gonna have injuries
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
much
people
in
get
every game, and especially late in the year, people are gonna be banged up, and by the midway point, every team's gonna be at about 75% just because of how the nature of this game. But I don't like it. Get well, Puka. You're a fantastic player.
he's yeah. Hopefully a quick recovery so we can play these teams at their best and avoid last minute scratches right before the game. Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey, both seemingly healthy, both had good camps. Russell Wilson, even I don't know if he technically won the starter job or if he like maintained his starter job. Either way, both of them last minute scratches. Both their teams get on the field and win.
Yeah, Russell's got the captain on his jersey. So I think his job is safe until he comes back at least. Justin Fields played well in his wake. Uh, I think the guy that replaced McCaffrey had 150 yards on the ground,
Oh my God.
close to. So I guess it, look, I'm telling you, if Brock Purdy is a product of that system, you can plug a running back in there. He ain't gonna be McCaffrey, but uh he can get it done because that offensive line is ridiculous. The team is deep as all get out, and I can't wait for the funds to catch up. so that they can't be that deep anymore. But it is what it is.
Who knows, man?
And
Like they
here's
got
the
a lot
thing,
of
guys.
rookies too.
Here's the thing, guys. We are busy individuals outside of here. We would love to be able to bring you updates because I think I might have changed my pick from Pittsburgh had I known Russell. And we tried to coordinate it, but we couldn't make it happen. But in the future, if somebody gets injured beforehand and our we'll communicate with each other. And if our thoughts are going to change on the game, we'll make a video to update it, and it will be on TikTok only. So make sure you sign up for that. But I mean, it, these two things didn't change our opinions, really.
I was gonna say I didn't. I would have still picked Atlanta. I would have still picked San Francisco, and I would have been right and wrong. So, but yeah, hopefully a quick recovery to them. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, Justin Fields looked pretty good. I know Atlanta doesn't have a stellar defense, but that's a game we can kind of mention before because that was a surprise to both of us. I think. Well, I don't know. You picked Pittsburgh.
I did because of Tomlin, um,
Yeah,
but well, Tomlin and Wilson. But I mean, I'm not a Justin Fields hater either. So
right.
when I found out he was going to be starting, I was a little bit concerned because of prep time uh,
Hmm.
with the ones, but I wasn't really like because I know Kirk Cousins too. I mean,
I
you know,
mean, yeah, it's just a cavalcade of mid is what that game really was. It's just like the okayest players in the league.
yeah,
But I'll talk more about it. I don't want to get too much into it. There is one player I did want to mention from that game, but we'll
me
talk
too.
about that on the yeah, it's probably the same player. Um the new kickoffs.
This is
Um
going to be a segment on TikTok. So
this is gonna be a segment on TikTok. Okay,
yeah,
so
so
the
let's.
new kickoffs. Whoa. Um Yeah, amp up the energy a little bit for you young people. Yeah, I honestly like they changed the rule to prevent touchbacks, get more active returns, more dynamic plays. We had one return across the 50 all weekend, and there were still several touchbacks. So it didn't seem to have too much of a profound effect, but I don't know. What did you see?
In my lifetime, kickoffs have been touchbacks to the 20-yard line and then to the 25. Coaches are now saying, well, we can touch back and we get it at the 30. That's better than we've ever had it. Why
Right.
would anybody want to return in this with this new rule? I I watched the first two games, like the Thursday night game and the Friday night game, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's
Because
pretty bad.
nobody, I'm like, they're not moving, nothing is moving. The ball gets kicked into the end zone and I'm like, that was pointless. As the week went on, I saw some people returning the ball. We had DJ Dallas return for the Cardinals a touchdown, breaking that one line of defense that you needed to break to do it. Um, I and then the onside kick part of it, where you have
Yeah.
to declare ahead of time and you can only do it if you're down. I don't I hate it. I'll be honest with you. Right,
It
I've changed my mind rest of the weeks, but as of week one, it's garbage.
it definitely seems like a miss. It seems like it's not accomplishing what they wanted to accomplish. And it's a kickoff. Like what? Like out of all of the things that need to be adjusted in the NFL, like that was the one that was like, I don't think anybody cares.
Can you explain to me the landing zone again?
Yeah, so it's like between the 20 and the goal line, and the ball has to hit inside that in the landing zone. If it doesn't, the kicking team is penalized in some way. If it doesn't go up to the 20, then the return team gets it at the 35. If it goes into the end zone, the return team gets it at the 30. If it goes out of bound, they get it at the 40. It's an illegal whatever penalty. Um, and then yeah, so it's like they're incentivizing the goal is to try to incentivize kickers to kick it into the zone so the return team is forced to return it. And it's like Okay, but they're not. Like the kickers
Well,
aren't kicking it in the
this is the
zone.
conundrum. This is the conundrum. Coaches are saying, okay, if we kick it into the zone, we have one line of defense to stop them. So they're saying we're just going to kick it into the end zone
Give it
and
to them at the 30, yeah.
give them another 5 yards. And then the other team is saying starting at the 30 is better than we've ever had it in our lives.
Hmm.
Dumb.
So here's here's what if I was an NFL coach, which I am not, and this is probably a bad idea, but like go get yourself like go to fucking Ireland or New Zealand and find like the best rugby punter in the league that can just shoot these like 100-yard sky hooks and then just like that can drop it on a dime and just fucking punt it every time. It gets it in the zone and then gets the ball moving kind of funky. Like they don't have a lot of support because yeah, if you can get the one returner or even two returners to like kind of muff the ball, there's nobody there to help return to recover it. Like I don't know. I just it doesn't feel like football to me. And that's the biggest sin is that like football has been primarily the same our entire lives. I mean, our parents, our grandparents' entire lives, but like now it's like there's this weird new fucked up rule, and so it's just I don't know. It feels weird. I don't like it.
Dude, I'm gonna miss kickoffs where everyone's lined up and everyone's lined up. The guy runs, the ball gets kicked, all the flash bulbs in the stadium go off, and all the guys are running at each other. I missed that already. And
Hmm.
I think there's definitely things that you can do situationally to maybe change up the kickoff. I like the idea of just putting the ball at the 50-yard line and having your two fastest guys run from the goal line,
Right.
smash each other to get it.
Remember
But
they did that in the XFL, and on the very first one of the season, a dude tore his ACL going for the ball.
there
And
you go.
And then
Gladiators.
I was like, okay, so I would be pretty pissed if like, Jaden Reed or Romeo Dobbs or Jair Alexander tore their ACL running for a fucking football. Um
Fair. Anyway,
anyway,
tell us what you think.
right. Would you yeah. Do you want to kick it with us on this issue? Um Seattle, Denver, Marshawn Lynch. Oh no, Marshawn Lynch was in a yeah, he was at the Seattle Denver game.
Yeah.
And shows up gives Mike McDonald a shoulder massage. Um,
Okay, that's not the, but this is what's so messed up about it. All right, you guys.
I was like, I'm gonna have you gotta fill me in on this one, man.
Marshawn Lynch is not a former player of Mike McDonald. They barely know each other. I think the only reason they know each other is because Mike McDonald brought him in to talk to the team at one point within the last 6 months. And of course, the old players like Doug Baldwin showed up, Cam Chancellor was there, uh, Marshawn Lynch. They're all invited to come whenever they want. And I think that's a cool thing that he kept from the Pete Carroll era. But this game started off with a sack, and then the next play was an interception, and then we gave up. I mean, the first pass that Gino threw this year was an interception, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. There was no
I
other
mean,
player anywhere near this guy, and he wasn't throwing it away. It was the middle of the field. He was like, "Here you go,"
yeah,
and then our defense was automatically put in jeopardy, and everything in the world was going wrong. We got safety twice in the first half. Um, And so Marshawn Lynch decides to walk up behind new coach, gives him a little shoulder pat. He turns around and he's like, "Oh, hey." And so they start talking and in the press conference after the game, they're like, What was that?" He's like, "Oh, that's Marshawn Lynch. He's one of my favorite players of all time." He's like, "But," he's like, I was getting ready to call the game because he calls our defensive sets. And he goes, "Well, what did he talk to you about?" He goes, "I don't know." He's like, "I think he was talking about our defense." And they're like, "Did you realize that he gave you a shoulder massage?" He's like, "I guess I blacked that out." But
You just so yeah, could you imagine being like so zoned in on your job? So I mean, like being a coach in the NFL is gonna be tremendous pressure. Um, and like just being so zoned in, and then like somebody starts rubbing your back, and you turn around and it's Marshawn Lynch.
He is my favorite player of all time. But here's
He's
the
he's
thing.
great.
When
Yeah,
he was an actual player, everyone hated him
it
because
was
he
a dick.
talk. But this is why he's so genuine, dude. Like he was actually about that business. He was
Mm,
about winning. He didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to be misconstrued in the media. And now he's the exact opposite. He's
yeah,
everywhere and everyone loves him. So he may have a chance to get into the Hall of Fame. Back when he was a player and the numbers were there, uh, I was like, no, these people are that he won't talk to ain't gonna vote for him. But
right.
now, I mean, now he's eligible. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens with that. But
Yeah,
that was
you know,
cool.
you rub a couple people's shoulders, you go on Dancing with the Stars, like you
Yeah,
come
that
on
show about
come
Mars.
on
Did you see
do
that?
NFL podcast, Marshawn Lynch, you got an open invitation. Um, but like, yeah, and maybe the Associated Press starts taking it easy. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I
I
think
would
that
love
the
it.
Legion of Boom, that Seattle team that won those Super Bowls, I don't think that happens without him.
Yeah, and for the
Um,
guy that never talks, I think the world is owed that acceptance speech.
Right.
Right?
What Marshawn Lynch does like a voice in a Pixar movie, just like an angry bulldog. Like, give me that phone.
F this, F that. Thanks to my F and O line. Thanks to my F.
Yeah.
I
But I
can't
think
imagine
you know what it
this.
kind of reminds me of? Have you ever like do you ever like know like a dad or somebody in your family that was like super mean when you were a kid, and then when they became old and like a grandpa and had grandchildren, they were just like
Oh
the
yeah.
nicest
Oh
grandpa
yeah.
ever. Like,
I
oh, I
know.
got a candy for you. Like, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I remember this dude beating my ass growing up, and now here he is. You know, here he is rolling around my daughter in his wheelchair, and it's like. I feel like that's. I mean, I know Marshawn Lynch is like probably like around our same age, but like he's kind of a grandpa in football terms, you know. Like he's to the point where it's like he doesn't have to be mean anymore. He doesn't care who wins. It's just fun.
Well, and it's funny because he's been one of those guys that always seems like he's dumb and he's a thug that's just going to get in trouble. But he's extremely smart, business oriented, and I mean, he's been a model citizen. Other than is he got
That's
caught.
everyone said the same thing about Richard Sherman, and he has a fucking business degree from Stanford. So
Yeah,
like
yep,
he's not stupid. He just makes more money playing football.
yep. So I mean, like I said, he goes around to younger players and says, he's got this take care of y'all's chicken. And he's like, basically, I never spent any of my playing money. Uh, I just put it all away. And he's like, I lived off of everything else. And he's like, you guys, there's too many people that are, broke after 3 or 4 years out of the league. And that shouldn't be when you set up your whole life saying, this is all I can be. And then you waste your money that you make in a matter of years.
Yeah,
So
you know, and
he's really smart, dude.
And I mean, it's unfortunate. It's a problem that we've known about in the NFL for many, many years. And if you think about it, it's just pairs are played based on their longevity. And so it's like quarterbacks make the most amount of money because they have the most impact on the team and the longest careers. So it's like you can't give Christian McCaffrey a 10-year contract, but you can give it to Patrick Mahomes. And so that's why it's like a good running back will make 15 million a year, a good quarterback will make 60 million a year. I mean, it's a business. Position players do not have long careers. And most of those guys, especially the rookies, if you're on a testing basis, like they're going to pay you league minimum. They're going to pay you 1.1 million a year. And if your career is only 5 years, you don't have enough money to get you through the rest of your life. But what you do have is opportunity money. You have money to start a business. You have money to buy a home and set up a base in a city. You have clout in the community. So, it's like, I actually just worked within my job. Dwight Howard has a real estate branch that he invested all his basketball money into, and now he has this like national cadre of real estate agents. And I got his business card the other day, and I was like, this is not the Dwight Howard card I was expecting to have in my
Right,
collection.
right.
Um, but it's like, yeah, you can turn one of my friend one of my a friend of a friend who played at CU. He played for the Lions as a backup for 3 seasons. Used the money to start a company where he sells medical supplies. Dude's a millionaire, not from playing football. So it's like you gotta see football as temporary, and it's just like money is great, but it's just like if you find $50 on the ground, don't get a car loan with it. Like you got to know where your money's coming from.
Well, and just to put a ribbon on the final Marshawn Lynch thing, speaking exactly of what you're speaking of, when you don't talk to the media and you say, I'm just here so I don't get fined, and you can turn that into a t-shirt that makes you $5 million, God bless you, sir.
That's and Marshawn wasn't, he wasn't media cancer. He had an attitude, and they loved it. He was never mean. He was never inappropriate. I mean, he did Madden and he did endorsements. Like, yeah, he got paid. He's good.
Oh yeah.
Plus, Super Bowl gets you a little bit of extra money too. Um, Moving on to a more serious topic, Deshaun Dick Touch Guy Watson. So I'm just gonna say this. This situation could have only happened to the Cleveland Browns. Like, you get rid of your quarterback because he's not performing, justifiably so. Baker Mayfield was not getting them anywhere. They spend all this money, inherit this huge this huge contractual liability from Houston to bring on Deshaun Watson as your franchise quarterback of the future. And since doing that, he has been injured, hasn't played very well, and is now in a tremendous amount of legal pressure from a civil lawsuit. So, I mean, it's literally the dude is going to have no money even with that giant contract because he's going to lose this lawsuit. And on the flip side, Baker Mayfield goes to Tampa, wins a playoff game, and is now making Tampa a contender in that division. Only in Cleveland.
Thoughts. Okay. They traded 6 draft picks for him, including 3 number 1 picks. This is to Houston, by the way,
Right.
who we are now
We all
declaring
we all know who how
potentially
good
the
he is.
best team in the AFC, right?
They're up
Um, so this deal, that I think this one actually trumps the Russell Wilson to Denver deal.
there. Oh, absolutely.
Because they're still going to be reaping benefits from it next season. All right. So what they do is they trade Deshaun Watson for 6 draft picks, and then they sign him to a 6-year, $240 million. No, what was it? How long? How many years was it?
Hang on, I can look up Deshaun Watson's
It's
contract.
not. I think it's $230 million. All right, and that made him the highest paid player in the league. And
5 years, 230.
five,
So
okay, 5 for
with
230.
a $45 million signing bonus and 230 million guaranteed.
All right, so yeah, I wasn't far off there, but based on what? I mean, this guy had legal troubles. You didn't know. This is Cleveland, dude. You're right. This is a debauchery, the likes of which I've never seen in
Right.
football. And so this is what do you do if you're Cleveland at this point? Because the allegation came from the same time period that he's already been. I mean, this is not like he did this last week.
Hmm.
This is from the same time period that he's already
Right.
gotten
So
through.
they knew that this was coming down the pipe.
So all the reform measures and things he had to do to get back in the league, that's all still in play, and he hasn't been problematic since then. I mean,
Not that we know about.
that we know of, but to have these things keep resurfacing, it really doesn't matter. You're
I
pointing
mean,
back in the because people don't do the research. People
I think it
think
would
that this
be.
happened now, and they're done with him already. So if you're Cleveland, you're like, we've got all this invested here, and nobody wants to see this guy play, but we kind of have to do it because of what we did here. So they're following whatever the NFL requirements are. They're not penalizing him or making him sit until the NFL requires it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you are going to be a Cleveland fan and
I mean,
watch this team.
it's a really interesting situation, and Cleveland did it to themselves, so it's like it's hard. Like you said, you can't really feel too bad for them, but it's like if the team was winning, if he was performing at a high level like that contract suggests that he's capable of, like I could see this being a completely different argument. The fact of the matter is I don't think with all of his distractions and all of like, kind of the nature of how much he's overrated and the pressure of that division, I don't really think Deshaun is gonna be the guy. And so Cleveland is faced with two interesting ideas is that like you have this huge liability on your payroll. You keep him, you let him play because you're paying him to play, so might as well get what you paid for. He's got a fully guaranteed contract, and he's probably already spent his. I mean, he's going to lose his signing bonus to that to the gal in the civil lawsuit. Um, or your other option is you put him on the trade block, you beg another team to take him and to take part of his contract. You end up retaining probably 30 to 40% of his contract to send him to another team where he potentially sits on the bench, you know? And it's just like I'm thinking about it, it's just like the Packers need a quarterback right now. I wouldn't want Deshaun. I wouldn't want that
I
that
mean, think
that
about it. When Denver cut Russell Wilson and they were paying what 37 million of a 38 million dollar contract,
for
people
him to play
actually
somewhere
wanted
else.
him, but
Yeah.
nobody's going to want Deshaun Watson, and they're going to end up paying 42 million of a 43 million dollar if they cut him.
I was like, there is still because I mean, yeah, he's on year three of his contract, 5 year contract. So you're looking at $130 million of contract of cap space that you have to give up for this guy that might get suspended
But
and
he's got to
doesn't.
be just like, I don't care. You want to cut me, I'll retire. You owe me that
I
100.
mean, he's probably the least worried about any of this. He's
Yeah.
got money to pay his lawsuits. He's not going to jail. If he doesn't see the field again, he has enough money to live off of if he's doesn't get sued more times.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the first time around, you had two prosecutors that didn't want to take it to court because they had no evidence.
Right.
All they had was accusations, no evidence. But this last one, I don't know if you read the breakdown of it, but like he apparently what he did was he went to her house and she came out from doing makeup and he was on her bed naked, uh, face down. He said, I need you to rub my behind. And she's like, I'm not a masseuse and a masseur. And he's like, okay, so what do you want to do instead? And he actually like penetrated her, and it's not
Pretty pretty
it's
rough stuff.
pretty graphic. And when she finally was like, dude, this is no, he like stormed out of the house. But this is, I mean, if
But
you
I mean, it's understandable, just from a legal perspective. For a criminal case, you have to be able to convince an entire jury that he's guilty, whereas in a civil case, you only have to convince the judge.
right,
The judge, and it's all monetary. I mean, O.J. Simpson was convicted of murder in the civil trial. That's why he had no money. But yeah, it's harder to convince a jury.
yeah,
Um, so I understand where the DA is coming from, but yeah, I mean he'll probably settle to get this off of his plate,
he absolutely will, because this woman has the same attorney as some of the other women in the
well, I mean when you have to convince one person who has an in-depth knowledge of the law that he committed an illegal act against another person, then yeah, it's a pretty much it's a cut and dry case. Um, but either way, legalese aside, Cleveland sucks. Drew Carey was wrong. Um, and here we are. Deshaun Watson will be one of many, many many forgotten Browns mistakes at quarterback.
I, first of all, before you get to Dak Prescott, which is our final news item, uh, I'm happy that you brought Jails back with the Dick Touch guy uh name, I guess.
Yeah.
That was nice. But I also feel like Cleveland bailed on Baker Mayfield. He was there 2 seasons. That's not enough time to know what this
Mhm.
guy's gonna be. And it wasn't like he was the worst quarterback they've ever had. Um,
No, far
and
from it.
at that point, it just seemed habitual that they were just cycling through people. And he unfortunately was one of them. If they would have stuck with him a while, imagine him on that team now. They would be good.
It'd be good. Tampa's kind of good, which is
Yeah,
crazy because they
yeah.
don't have much talent.
Enough said.
I mean, yeah, I always liked Baker Mayfield. I thought he was the right guy in Cleveland, but I see what they did, and it's just like they were getting close. They were starting to get good for the first time in like a decade. And they had they had Myles Garrett, they had this good defense, and they're like, we just need one more piece. We just need one more piece. And they thought it was a quarterback. And they were wrong, which they always are. That's why Cleveland is the oldest franchise to never have won a Super Bowl. Oh, and
Dude,
that's not true.
just imagine if they had Baker Mayfield and all the capital they spent on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. You think about like who was a free agent during this time, who they could have picked up instead. They could have picked up some huge. They could have gotten Devonte Adams instead. They could have gotten, what's his ass who went to the Bears from the Panthers. They could have gotten, a decent third down running back to back up Chubb, knowing that Chubb's knee was going to snap in half. Like you could have gotten more defensive pieces. There were so many good free agents, and you sold the farm for a guy who sexually assaulted somebody. So here we are, Browns. You're the color of shit once
Oh
again,
shit.
literally and metaphorically. Um, Dak Prescott. Um, with that new contract, he probably feels like he can take on the entire empire by himself. Highest paid player in pro sports right now. I'm sure there'll be somebody that'll surpass him. Um, I'm not surprised at all. I don't know. What are your thoughts? It's fucking Jerry World, man.
Well, I've heard people say, the Cowboys are the most valued. Yeah, but we all have the same salary cap,
Right.
so it doesn't matter what they're doing here. And I predicted this was Dak's last season in Dallas. Clearly, you can punch my face for that one. But $140 million for 4 years, dude, that's what is the salary cap now? 150? So
I
you're at
mean,
like more than 30% of your salary in one player, and he hasn't gotten you over the hump at this point, and he can't be in, I mean, he probably is in his prime years, but on the back end of them, I don't think he's coming into his prime. I think he's on the back end of it. And if he hasn't gotten it done now, uh, by now,
so this brings up an interesting question to me, just from a philosophy standpoint. Do you think in our lifetimes we will see $1 billion contract for a pro
yes,
athlete?
yes,
I think so. It'll probably be in baseball, but
probably. I mean,
one of those sports without a salary cap. But yeah, no, it is 4 years, 240 million. Yeah. Highest paid athlete in professional football history. Probably will be surpassed when one of these guys gets a new contract because that's what these agents do. They're like, oh, Jordan Love got this, Mahomes got this. I want more. I gotta have more.
dude, when CJ Stroud comes up in 2 years,
Oh man.
he's
Well, and
gonna make more than that.
let's well, CJ Stroud, what if he wins a Super Bowl in Houston?
I mean, I don't think it
It's not,
matters.
it's possible. It's fucking
It is
possible.
very possible.
Yeah.
Thanks to Cleveland. But
Thanks to
here's the deal.
Cleveland, right?
Here's the
Yeah,
deal. I don't think it matters. I think his talent level. I mean, it's Dak. If Dak Prescott can get this without a Super Bowl appearance,
right. Yeah,
and
Dak is
nary a playoff victory, I think
yeah,
he's
like
won.
yeah. I was like, I think like the Cowboys are like since Dak joined are like 2-12 in the playoffs. Like they've been bad. So yeah, I don't know. What I mean, and I think
I like Dak as a guy and as
I
a
do. I mean, yeah, he's a Mississippi State guy. Came from a smaller school. I think he's talented. I just think that like the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys would be a Super Bowl contender with the right coach, but it's not Mike McCarthy. You don't have an Aaron Rodgers that can
we
just
thought
win the
that
Super
last year too. We're like, he's done, and then they brought him back.
And they brought him back because Jerry Jones is a fucking he's Yosemite Sam. Like he's Scrooge McDuck. He's a cartoon character. He's just this big Texas personality that just throws money at all his problems and expects them to just work out. And it's just like, nah, dude, this isn't your grandpa's football. Okay. Like you can't, it's not like we're gonna put their dicks in the dirt 3 yards in a cloud of dust, Rudy, Rudy, Rudy. Like that's not how fucking football is played in the NFL. You have to have somebody who knows how to beat defenses. It doesn't matter who's on the fucking field. There's nobody good enough to win the Super Bowl by themselves.
True.
So maybe Patrick Mahomes. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll take Travis Kelce away and say that.
Yeah. I mean, they took Tyreek away. I didn't think he could do it without him either, but that's a special player right there.
Uh,
Okay. Do you want to go first on picks this week? I think I went first last week.
it's your show, boss.
All right, let's do that. In all things
Oh
fair.
no, I don't want to pick this one first.
Oh
I will.
no.
I
I
will.
thought
I
it was
will.
my show. All right.
All right.
This is a tough one. Thursday night, Dolphins, Bills in Miami. Are you going Buffalo Wings? Are you going Cuban Sammy?
Dude, I am all about this game. This is gonna be
It's
fun.
gonna be a fun game.
This scheduling is correct. NFL, great job. I really don't know who to pick. It's in Miami. Oh boy. I'm gonna go Miami. Yeah, I'm gonna go 21 28, 27, Miami. And I'm
You
not
know,
confident.
I was gonna say that's the if I would have had to pick first, I think I would have probably made the same prediction. This game's gonna be a shootout. Both kind of suspect defenses with some very powerful weapons on offense. I will take the Bills for statistical purposes. I will take Buffalo 34-31.
Got it, boss.
Up next, oh, oh boy. Okay. Minnesota hosting the 49ers. Will we see Christian McCaffrey? Will it matter? I picked this one first. Niners 45, Minnesota 21.
Wait, why am I not seeing this? I'm on week 2 on
September 15th.
NFL.com.
Yeah.
On NFL.com.
Hang on. Let me see. NFL.com. Oh, I'm on Yahoo. Okay. I mean, it's in the same time bracket though. All right, hang on. Let me see. News. Where's the schedule?
Oh, I guess it is. I mean, I can move. But I show Raiders at Baltimore on
Okay,
NFL.
we can do Raiders in Baltimore now. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Raiders at Baltimore.
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
We'll get it figured out. We're
Yeah.
in the show.
Oh, there's a bunch of 11 o'clock games. Okay. Raiders at Baltimore. I mean, this is probably one of the more boring picks this week. but Baltimore's gonna fustigate him. Um, yeah, like 38-13. Lamar throws 5 touchdowns.
38-13. Baltimore. Lamar, I'm going to put it down. 5 TD. I'm going to give you 5 TD even if he rushes for him. How about that?
I
He'll
I like
have five,
that's very generous.
he'll have 5 touchdowns. All right. I'm going to go uh 31 31 to 8. And I'm
31.
go and I'm going to go for Baltimore. Sorry.
Max Crosby gets 4 safeties.
4 safeties.
Um, okay, easy enough. This one's yours. The boys from Carolina.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna go
and the Clippers.
I'm gonna go never picking Carolina again. I'm gonna go Chargers 28 to 9.
28-9.
28-9.
All right. I'm gonna go Chargers 25-10. Yeah, it's I'm sorry, like, yeah, I think the Panthers will win some games this year.
I don't.
I don't know. The only thing that like this could be a trap game because they are going they do all got to go all the way to Raleigh from LA, and that's a very far plane ride, but these guys are pros and Harbaugh is good on the road, and yeah, the Panthers suck ass, so yeah, they're not going to win. Okay. Dallas hosting New Orleans. I think this is going to be a better game than we expect. That being said, I'm still taking Dallas. Going to Jerry World, it's basically like, you know, Universal Studios with a football game happening in the middle. Um, Dallas, it's going to be close. They have to kick a field goal at the end to win it, 24-21.
24-21 Dallas. Um 20 really 21. Okay, I think it'll be 28-20 Dallas.
Got it. Um, Detroit hosting Tampa.
It's mine.
Your pick.
Boy, I really liked what I saw out of Baker Mayfield. I didn't really love what I saw out of Jared Goff, but if they got running back behind Montgomery, I think Mike Montgomery's a country singer.
Maybe.
What's his name?
Hang on.
Montgomery. Montgomery. Anyway, he was awesome. And they got Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta and Amon Ra. And they got
David Montgomery.
David Montgomery. Mike Montgomery is a country singer. Yes. Okay. All things serious. All right. Um, boy, I gotta pick Detroit because they're in Detroit. Um, 23-24.
So,
What you got?
yeah, let me pull it back up. My first upset, Tampa on the road, 34-26. Couple of turnovers. Baker Mayfield plays his butt off. People push Tampa into the top 15 of the power rankings. People start questioning Detroit. Detroit will be fine, but Tampa's going to win this game.
That
All
sounds
right. Here's the big one. Sunday morning, 11 a.m., Green Bay, Indianapolis, in Green Bay. I'm taking the Colts. Actually, no. Fuck that. because I know you're taking the Colts. I'm going to pick the Packers because the last two times I picked against the Packers, I was right. So I picked San Francisco in the divisional round and I picked Philly last week. I'm going to try it. And you know what? Fuck it. Whatever. We have a backup quarterback. We're at home. We still have our defense. We still have Jacobs. We still have Matt LaFleur. We don't need a good quarterback to beat the Colts. We can do this. Believe in yourselves. Packers 28, Colts 17.
All right. Do you really know that Malik Willis is not a good quarterback?
I don't know that. He
You
played
don't
one
know that.
play and he fell down
We
because
don't
the
know that.
yeah.
We don't know.
But
Um,
even if he's not, we still win this game.
Even if he's capable, you still have a chance because this Colts team is still unknown. Nobody knows. We don't know. We just don't know. Okay. And I saw what um Anthony Richardson looks like at home. He looks like a guy who's played way more than 5 games. Um, but I also know that he is aware that he can't go down 2 games to none um, against Houston and hope to make the playoffs in his second campaign. Going into Lambeau is not an easy ordeal. I've seen Russell Wilson do it, potential Hall of Famer, 5 times and never, ever even come close to having a good game, let
I was
alone
like, Wilson.
getting a win.
I was like, Wilson never had good games against the Packers, even in the ones that he won. He threw five interceptions in that NFC Championship.
Right, and that was at home, but
That was
even
at home.
Green Bay, he's never even, I mean, he's had 5 interceptions to no touchdowns before. I was at
Right.
that game. I was at
Yeah.
that game.
That was bad. I mean, it was good for me. I don't know. I mean, you probably had a different opinion, but so see, you've said a lot of stuff. Give me a pick.
All right, I'm gonna go Green Bay. Yeah, I'm gonna go Green Bay 24-14. And that's not me giving up on Anthony Richardson. I haven't seen it. I've seen 4 games of his. He played CJ Stroud toe to toe in their building. Unfortunately, Lambeau is not an easy place to go. It's not even that their crowd is overwhelming or anything. The crowd is some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, which is crazy to say about a rivaling football team. But I'm feeling Green Bay knows what their season holds, and they're down a leader, and I think the rest of the guys are going to rally around Malik Willis.
What you talking about, Willis? Hopefully winning a football game. I'm just like on it with the puns today, man. I think my dad energy is finally sinking in. Um, Jacksonville, another home game. Cleveland's first road test. Can Dick Touch Guy overcome Big Dick Lawrence on the road? This one's yours.
No, he cannot.
I'm like, yeah, this one's
Uh,
easy.
Lawrence is going to leave a mushroom bruise right on his forehead. And I think it's going to be about 31-22 in favor of Jacksonville.
I think this is a major step towards Deshaun getting benched. 37-10 Jacksonville.
All right. It's in the books, my friend.
It's in there. This one, oh, here's the one that I already picked. San Francisco 45, Minnesota 21. In the dome. I just think Minnesota, they played well, but they do not have the talent to keep up with a team like San Francisco when they got momentum.
Well, I don't know if McCaffrey is playing this game or not. And I do think it makes a difference in this game.
Okay.
Um, I don't have anything to quantify or back that up other than a gut feeling. Um, but I'm going to pretend as if he's playing because I haven't heard otherwise. So, that being the case, Sam Darnold, can he be a hero 2 weeks in a row? I mean, he was never terrible, I never thought, with the Jets and
Well,
with Carolina. He did what he could with Carolina. He brought them at least a couple wins, which they won't get this year. First pick of the draft. Thank you.
again,
Second pick to the Giants.
I
But
think I think Carolina I think Carolina and the Giants should have to play for the first pick, but I'm sorry, cut you off.
38 30, oh, 38 27, San Fran.
Niners.
I can't, I don't want them to be 2-0, but it's Minnesota.
There's going to be a lot of things San Francisco does this year that you're not going to like. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
They're such a good team, dude. Um, all right, your Seattle Seahawks are on the 1 yard line this week against the New England Patriots. Do you hand it off to Marshawn? Do you try to throw it?
You definitely hand it off to Marshawn.
Yeah, you do.
It's not even a question. Although I'm looking back at that game always, and I'm thinking, it makes sense. You have the best running back and you blah blah blah. And looking at the time and all things considered, if you're going to throw in that series of downs, that was the that was the down to do it.
Right.
And unfortunately, Butler knew it. Could there have been an interference call there? Maybe, since he leveled our guy, but they were both going for the ball, so I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Um,
I
he
know what Gene Steratore would say.
he jumped the route, made the play on Wilson. I don't know why our fourth string receiver was the call there. That boggles me. That's worse to me than not giving the ball to Marshawn. Is if you're going to throw it, you throw it to your fourth string receiver.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. But anyway, we're not talking about that game. This is though the second consecutive Super Bowl rematch for
For
us.
the Seahawks. Yeah, it is.
So is it my pick or your pick?
It's your pick. Yeah.
Oh, well, I was really thoroughly impressed with New England winning when they shouldn't have won, but I'm not really thoroughly impressed with them overall because they didn't completely crush. I mean, Cincinnati was just they were bungles. They were the bungles, dude. They could do nothing. And I think it was more of them being really bad at the beginning of seasons and not prepared than it was Jared Mayo. I'll just say this. Going into New England this week, I'm glad that Belichick's not their coach. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to say Seattle squeaks it out 28-25.
And this one's hard because I care about your feelings.
Oh, it is. Well, no, no.
But
Go with what you believe.
I think New England's going to win this game. And I don't think it's because they're a better team. I think it's because situationally, I think they are riding momentum from that Bengals win. This is their first home game. Foxborough is going to be wild because Boston fans are so fast to be like, our team's going like what's a buzz? It's like, oh my God, our team's going to the Super Bowl. We won a game. Um, like so I think and Seattle they got to travel across this is I think the farthest distance that you can travel in the NFL between teams. Um
Miami.
I think New England wins a close one. 16-13.
If we go to Miami,
Yeah, that's further. You're right.
no, don't I don't begrudge that pick at all. I don't want to pick against Seattle. So I'm not gonna until we lose, and I see that I should be. Because right now I don't know that I should be picking against my own team. So I'm not gonna, but that could
When
change.
it comes to the sport of gambling, there is no loyalty. Um Speaking of no loyalty, holy shit. Like who do you pick in this game?
I have
Tennessee hosting the Jets. I don't fucking know. I don't. I seriously. I'm gonna flip a fucking pog. I can't pick a team. So I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, I really hate the Jets, mostly because of their coach and the fact that he's been there for 4 years and not had a winning season, and they gave him a fifth year. No other. The Browns might do that, but no one else.
Right.
Okay. So this is a like a hate fuck of a pick. Um,
You're taking Tennessee. Hey,
I'm
fuck.
gonna pick
Jets.
I'm gonna pick the Titans 24-21. Bank it.
All right. My first random because I can't pick this game. I have a football pog. It says football, you bet. And it's blank on the other side, probably from the early to mid 90s. If it lands on the football helmet, I will pick the Titans. If it lands on the white spot, I'll pick the Jets. Okay, Jets, 10-9. Because fuck it, who cares? Fuck this
Worst
game.
game in NFL history.
Yeah, or four. Yeah, 10-9. Moving on. A game with a little like 1% more drama than this game. Um, Washington hosting the Giants. Oh, and it's my pick. Washington by a lot. They're bad. Giants are worse. 24-7. Washington. I told you I don't know if
Now,
I can pick the Giants again this year.
do I do I try and get up a game on you because this is so unknown? No, I don't.
You know this.
Uh,
You got Tennessee in the Jets matchup, so
I am gonna take Washington, and I'm gonna take it 24-17 in their house. If I will tell you this, if they lose this game, if Washington loses this game to the team that's going to get the second pick in the draft, it's going to be hard for me to continue down the Jaden
yeah.
Daniels.
This
Uh,
is what you do though. This is like the third season you've wanted Washington to be good.
Shut
It's
up.
okay.
Shut up.
It's okay. I like Washington too. I mean I liked them better when they were the Redskins, but because their uniforms were much cooler, but like now they're just kind of generic. Um Speaking of generic, the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Puka Nakualis, that is fun to say. Los Angeles Rams. And this one is your pick. It's a
I
division game.
know. An early on division game. Boy, this is tough because you know now that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be on the radar to do something. And you know that Puka Nacua is out at least 4 games. The Rams coming off of a tough road loss, going into the desert, doesn't get much easier, doesn't get much harder either. So this is a tough game to call, but I'm gonna go with the Rams. The Rams are gonna win this game 25-19.
I it's one of those things I'd love to gain a game money. I think I will with the next game we're gonna pick, but yeah, I'm also gonna take the Rams. I think the Cardinals, I like I like the direction they're going in. They're putting more stock into their offense, but I just think Kyler is too inconsistent in a division that competitive. So I think that unfortunately for Sammy, my high school teammate, I think Arizona probably cleans house within the next 1 or 2 seasons. They don't win this game. The Rams coming off a heartbreaking loss. They played tough. They got a lot of good players on offense. 38. 28. Rams take it on the road.
Gotcha.
All right. This next one, I know how you're going to pick, so I'm going to take the opposite because I think this one's kind of a toss up. Mike Tomlin and his Pittsburgh Steelers, including Russell Wilson, go back to the city where Russell had more bathrooms than touchdown passes, and the Denver Broncos. Um, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, and he won last week, which means time to get an L in the column. I'm taking the Broncos. I hate doing it. I hate betting on the Broncos. I feel like I'm fucking cursed with everything around this team. But I think Bo Nix is going to get his first win. I think the crowd is going to be wildin'. I think if Fields starts, it's an easy win. If Russell starts, it's a hard win. I think it's a win regardless. Taking the Broncos at home, 30-27.
Well, this is where I destroy you.
Let's go.
I said that last week and it didn't.
It didn't
I
happen.
mean, we both picked the same teams. I don't know how. But anyway, yeah, Russell Wilson will play this game. He will will himself into a position where if he's healthy and it's not a coach's decision, he will play this game. And he will go into Denver and have no less than 3 touchdowns. I'm going to note this. 3 touchdowns, tutties, we could call them,
Daddies.
and a 28-20 Pittsburgh a victory.
Steelers country. Let's weld. All right. Um shit. Kansas City hosting Cincy. You think it's an easy pick. I'm gonna let you go first.
I mean, both teams typically start out slow. Uh, but
I mean, you're not wrong though. It's hard
no,
to
I really am not wrong.
you can't really debate it. Yeah.
Uh, Kansas City looked all the way there, though. I mean, they looked really good. Uh, I I have no faith in Cincinnati right now. Joe Burrow's got a lot of soul searching to do. Maybe he could do ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no, that helped Aaron Rodgers' career so much.
Uh, gosh, I think it's gonna be a slaughter. 34, we'll say 34-20 KC.
So I will say I really want to pick Cincinnati in this matchup because the whole Burrowhead thing. Like, yeah, he plays better at Arrowhead. Um, that being said, you're right. You're right sometimes. And Kansas City, they they put together a complete game against Baltimore. They made the changes they needed to make to adjust to it. I think Kansas City, I mean, it might be a good AFC championship between Kansas City and Houston. Yeah, they win this game too. What did you say? 34-20? I will go 35-21.
Bitch.
Doing the Price is Right thing.
Yeah.
One dollar.
$1.
501. Okay. And then rounding out the weekend before Monday night, we have our Sunday night matchup. Couple of youngsters, a couple of newish coaches. We got the Houston Texans hosting the Bears.
Yeah, I got 41-15 Houston.
Yeah, I was like, I think I don't even remember whose pick it is, but yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. Houston, by like, yeah, 38-10. Um, this is the game where Bumble Nuts throws 4 picks. Caleb Williams. Yeah, with his little fucking sidearm Uncle Rico pass. Yeah, no. Like, yeah, CJ Stroud is going to teach you how to
I
play
love
quarterback.
that it's an Uncle Rico pass when Caleb Williams does it, but it's Hall of Fame quality far
when uh, when
when Mahomes does it.
when Mahomes does it. I know. Well, here's the thing: Mahomes does it when he's doing a dump off. Caleb Williams does it on like crossing routes and posts and shit, and it's like, dude, you're terrible. You're a terrible quarterback. Um, Monday night, another game that I thought had a lot more drama last week. This week I think is kind of by the numbers. Philly, Atlanta. Um, I'm taking Philly at home, 29-13. Um, I think, yeah, Atlanta maybe loses their first 4 or 5 games, and we're going to see Michael Penix put together a run.
I'm gonna go 28-27 Atlanta.
Outstanding.
Thought you'd like that.
I love it. I love watching you make mistakes too. That's like my second favorite thing.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Atlanta has a lot of really good players.
Sure
Um,
they do.
and I still, I mean, I realize that you want to pick Philly because it hurts, not because of hurts, because it hurts.
Sure.
Lost to them, and you don't want to see them lose to the Falcons who lost because you picked them.
I mean, that's not
They're
really the way the
because
NFL works. It's not like college, but yeah, it's I do not want to. You're right. I don't want to see Philly lose. I don't think they will lose this game though.
I still don't think they're that great. I think they're better than they were last year, but I saw a lot of uh here's the key to stopping them. If you can stop what's his nuts from running down the field on you. Who's that receiver they got?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. If you can
Mhm.
stop AJ Brown, you can stop the Eagles. And can the Falcons do it? I don't know. But that's what I'm banking on. Banking on they know that they got to stop them. So yeah, they're bubble nuts. It's a new name for Caleb Williams.
Bumble nuts. Yeah, for sure.
Bumble nuts or bubble nuts?
Bumble nuts, like a
All right,
bee,
bumble.
like honey nut Cheerios.
Oh, I got it.
Like
Bumble.
Bumble Nut Tastic. Yeah,
All right.
you
Four
heard
points.
me, General Mills. I can do marketing. And that's it. That's football.
That's
Who
it.
see you? Who see you playing?
Oh God.
I don't even know. Yeah, who see you losing to? See you Buffaloes football. Oh, it's the Rocky Mountain Showdown. Oh, God. Oh,
Dude, it
see,
is it is rival week.
yeah.
I
See,
I will tell you this. I think that the Washington Huskies are gonna lose to Washington State.
that would be an upset, but Washington had all their best players drafted last year, so I get it.
Well, new coach. I mean, our coach went to replace Nick Saban at Alabama. So
Bit of a promotion,
a
yeah.
lot of our players, a lot of our players went with him. And yeah, that's how I see it happening. So we'll see. We'll see.
Right on. Well, that
Yeah,
concludes our programming for this week. Thank you for staying with us. Make sure to put your picks down in the chats. Also, what jersey do you want to see on Gobo? I'm like, my skin is burning with this fucking Bears rag. And so, like, what other crazy jersey do you want to see me wear? I will try to, I said I have the goal of getting every team. So I have like 50 to 60% of them right now. So, throw in the chat what team you want to see me rocking next week. Um, Catch the games. Watch for us on TikTok. Make sure to follow us. We are going to try to do a live stream if my very young children will be less demanding this football Sunday. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And then next week, I will be broadcasting abroad. I will be in LA. So, but I will bring my laptop with me, and we will get the show shot.
abroad
Yes.
in LA.
Yeah.
Okay. You say so.
Hey, I got broads all over the place, man. Hey-oh.
That's not what that means.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were in London, yeah, you'd be.
No, then it'd be a bird then. That was more Australian.
All
Anyways, let's show everybody. NF
right.
episode 2, season 3 in the books. Catch you next time.